Hey guys, so today I'm going to talk about a Zerk Necro build I built. A guildie actually asked me the other day, what's a good Necro Zerker build for dungeons and things? And I sort of had to think about it and I thought, well, I haven't really heard of any meta ones being made, and I had a quick look and there was a ton of Conditionmancer or condition-based Necros which heavily rely on a ton of conditions in a really short amount of time. And then I thought, but those ton of conditions are good in a way, but a base damage is a lot more efficient in terms of DPSing a boss in a dungeon, especially on stacks. So I took about 2.5 hours and made my own build, and so I just thought I'd let everyone know how it works and what it's based around and stuff like that. So in terms of the armor, we just have our base just Zerker armor with our 6 scholar runes to get our 10% damage while our health is above 90%. Now this in this build is very efficient because most Zerker builds require a lot of skill to keep your health above 90% health, especially when you're just starting out as Zerker. But this build seems to have a really health above 90%. And it will become more apparent in the trait lines, but for now, yeah, it is a really overpowered build. You have 3,400 attack, almost 3.5k. Now that is, that's getting up there with some massive DPS, 42% crit chance. Now that crit chance goes up by 20% for Fury, and around 17% for a banner. So yeah, you get up there fairly fast with your food buffs and everything like that. You're hitting around the 90%, 85% mark for crit, which is always really nice. And then you have a 70% crit damage. That crit damage is quite high for a necro build, and that is part and parcel with this build. It does create quite a nice set of skills that you have, instead of just going heavy condition damage and just allowing your conditions to tick. This one's just more based around the fact that you get in, you smash a mob, and yeah, it's pretty much gone. So the build is Axe Warhorn, Dagger. Standard just run main hand, Superior Sigil of the Night, Superior Sigil of the Night on my dagger as well. I run a crit chance on my on one dagger and also on one of my warhorns. This allows me to get that extra 5% crit chance, because I personally feel I'm lacking. You could go something else. Maybe you go Sigil of Battle to get some might stacks. Maybe you go just the blood sigil on one to give yourself a bit more health. But I personally feel that your health regen and everything like that is top notch, and you will not go down. It's very rare that you will go down unless you're with a really bad team that just can't carry themselves. Our accessories are Zerk accessories, Ruby Orb. I don't have Ascended. This isn't my main character. This is sort of a character that I just purely made. Just so I'd have a I don't personally care about it, but it is efficient in dungeons now, so I have given it all the proper accessories. In terms of our traits, we have our trait line is 30, 10, 0, 30, 0. Now this may sound a little odd, but we do hit some massive damage multipliers, and that is the main cause of this build, is our damage multipliers. So to start off, we gain health when we kill a foe. Substandard, you kill a trash mob and you gain a bit of healing. You gain 1,000 health. At a 21,000 health pool, it's not that great, but it does help us keep up with our scholar buff. When you kill a foe, you remove conditions. Personally, I couldn't find anything else that I would like to hit in this build with this line, so unless you run a focus. But yeah, I personally couldn't find anything. I don't run signets, so I didn't need that at all. Healing power based on your standard power. Now this is quite efficient. This helps with our healing skill, and a trait later on that I'll come back and talk about, Death into Life. Axe training, because we run our main hand axe. I do rely heavily on axe. One, because you have a Von stack on your main attack. It's a 9-second Von stack, 2 stacks of it. and you get 2 hits for it. It is a super fast recharge for a auto attack as well, so it's really quite nice. Our second one is our number 2 skill. It is 8 times damage multiplier. You can see that it does almost 3k damage. And then it of course goes up because of crits and stuff like that. Don't worry too much about the life force gain. I rarely pop my F1. Game might well struck below 25% health. It's very rare, but a mob may come at you and strike you quite heavily to start off, dropping your health below 25%. For added bonus, you gain a might stack. Not really anything great. Close to death. When a mob falls below 50% health, you gain a 20% health damage increase. Sorry. The main line this one is hit sprite for that 20% may not sound like much, but at a 3k auto attack, you're hitting 3.6 as soon as they go under 50% health. That's non-crit. So if you manage to crit for that, that 20% damage increase is affected by that crit increase as well. So it is really, really nice. And talking about mobs, usually you're fighting a mob for 12 to 15 seconds. So you enter combat, you drop all your wells. So we're just gonna we drop our wells. By the time we manage to pop all our wells here, we're gonna be sort of 6 seconds into combat. We're going 1, we're going now 2 skill. Combat's almost finished. The mob is now under 50% health, so we get our 20% damage increase. It's really efficient. By the time our wells are down, by the time we start DPSing, we're actually under that 50% damage increase, so we're doing a lot more damage a lot faster. Just a higher DPS counter, really. It is a nice little bonus that is thrown onto everything else. Critical chit. Moving on to curses. Critical hits have a chance to cause bleeding. Pretty much useless to me. I don't care too much for bleeds. I did choose the curses line for the number 10-3 skill. This is Chilling Darkness. Now, blinding a target will also apply a chill. For those that don't know about chill is probably one of the highest yet unregarded condition out there. It should be number 1 for everyone's list. You should have a chill in your spread of weapons. You should have a chill in your skills if you could. You should have a chill in your weapon sets. Everything like that should have a chill because it slows your enemy's movement speed, and then secondly, they attack slower. They attack 66% slower. Now that may not sound like much, but a mob DPSs you, a standard dungeon mob DPSs you about 1 hit every second. Now if they're moving 66%, 1.6 seconds, so you look at it over the course of a 12-second fight, they're only going to hit you about 9 times, and that 9 times can be dodged by our pure blind. So we're looking at our Well of Darkness. It is a blind for 4 seconds. Next outgoing attack misses. Of course, that's a nice blind. As soon as that blind inflicts, a chill then goes straight onto our mob as well. So our mob is slowed, our mob is blind. So our mob goes to hit us. It's going to miss because of the blind. It's also chilled, so it's moving even slower. So it's going to take longer to wind up for another attack. Of course, our team is still DPSing. By the time our Well of Darkness drops, that mob still has 1 or 2 seconds of chill. It still has another blind left in it. So effectively, they're just going to stand there and just face tank the first 5 seconds of combat, even 6 seconds if they're unlucky and they get the blind just before it deticks. This one can be used in SE. Now, I did have to try this out, and SE's sort of that touchy dungeons where you verse dredge and they can't be blinded, but the blind actually still sits on the dredge. Now this trait line actually affects if the blind sits on them. So as soon as that blind goes on top of them, they get a chill. Effectively, they're not blind, but they are chilled, so they do attack slower. So it is effective build for SE as well. In our 30 into Blood Magic, we have game regeneration when your health drops below 90%. That 90% just helps keep us up with the Scholar buff. Also regen, so it's a heal. Affects our 8 into our sprite. Reduces recharge on dagger skills. We do have offhand dagger, our second weapon sets, so a 20% reduction in their skills is quite nice. Siphon health whenever you hit a foe. That's just a really nice trait to hit. So whenever we hit a foe, we're siphoning health. That is most probably on reduces recharge on wells, a 20% reduction. It's really nice. We're at 40 seconds. If we turn this one off and just go here, you can see it's a 50-second. So it is quite nice to hit that 40-second recharge. Pretty much that 40 seconds is also apparent to the placing of it, not the actual ending of it. So by the time your well runs out after you've channeled and everything, it's about 33 seconds before it's up again, which to me is not that long. Again, we get an extra power increase, same as our scholar buff, an extra 120 power. That's always nice. That's about a 4% on our current power rating. So vampiric rituals, wells also siphon health every time they pulse. That's just a really nice tip to the scale of our blood magic. I tried to find another 5 because I did actually want that power to blood. I tried to find a 5 here. Summon a jagged horror, increases life force, or gain fury when entering Death Shroud. I don't use Death Shroud, so all those seem inefficient to me, and they just seem useless. So yeah, next up we're going to have a look at our skills. Across the whole board we got wells. We have Well of Blood. This is nice because it's a party AoE heal. We don't really need to heal because of this life siphon. It does not do damage. Next up we have our Well of Suffering. This is our main source of damage for our well skills, so this needs to be the one that is placed second. Now I say second because usually all our mobs aren't attacking by the first. So what I do is I go a 9, which is our blind, so our first mobs that enter always try to jump you. A 7, which is our damage one, our 8, and then if our party's getting low, I pop my 6. And that is all stacked on top of each other. There's a nice little green glow we have there. Yeah, so it is quite nice to pop second because our mobs are stacks and it is damage. Von stacks are efficient in keeping up that 25. The 5 stacks of Von over the 2 stacks of Von over the 5 seconds is 10 stacks of Von. We do manage to hit 8 on that, 8 stacks for the full well. And this is 8 stacks is almost equivalent to a warrior's instant on my mark. Now that on my mark can be dropped now if you are running this build, and replaced with it for Great Justice for some might stacks. Might and Fury is a lot nicer than trying to put Von stacks onto a Defiant boss. Defiant boss, he just pretty much shakes that off as soon as it hits him. So this is a nice little thing. It is constant ticks, so the boss isn't going to remove them quite as fast. And it is quite nice. Our next one is our Well of Power. Now this one is just to change our conditions into boons. It's not really there for much else. 1 second of stability when placing it. It doesn't give us any other after that. But it is quite nice just to have. You can sort of rally up in between that and our Well of Corruption. So yeah, if you have this one, you have a second damage one, converting boons on foes into conditions. But I like that 1 second of stability. It just gives you that bit of time when stacking to pop it down, instead of just getting your face stomped instantly. Our last one is our Well of Darkness. Target area pulses blinding foes with each pulse. It is a blind, and remember that blind inflicting is a chill. And that's always nice. These are all dark combo fields, so you can blast them for blind stacks, but the blind does not get affected by our chill. So effectively you just use the Well of Darkness just purely for the chill and blind. Last up is our Flesh Golem. I personally hate every elite with a Necro. We have a Plague. To me that's pointless. Gets rid of all your skills. Why would you want something like that? Same as Lich Form and same as Reaper of Grenth. I don't want to get rid of my skills. If I do get down this line, I will go the Hounds of Balthazar because they are a blast finisher. So on our wells, they are blasting that blind. If they do come out. Usually one throws down an AoE and the other one jumps in it. That causes 3 stacks of might, so that's always nice to have in a fight as well. So yeah, elite is pretty much useless to me. Same as your F1, I don't pop my F1. So usually in a fight you manage to get all your wells down, and then the fight's pretty much over. So your wells are down, you usually get an Axe 1 or an Axe 2. You can stun your mob with your Warhorn 4. Throw out some ugly looking green crap and stun your mob. That's always nice. That keeps your DPS counter up. As soon as your wells go down, you should be thinking about a stun for everyone. It is not caused by Defiant, so throwing that stun at him isn't going to cause the boss to go, oh shit, I'm going to turn on my Defiant stacks. He's just going to get stunned for a few seconds, so it is always really nice to keep that in mind. In terms of food, I just run the dungeon potions. In AC, I run the maintenance oil. And then just on your off food, I just run the candy dragon roll. I was thinking about the carry butternut squash because it is more crit damage and everything, but it isn't efficient to me. It costs too much, and the dragon rolls are a lot easier. 70 precision's fine with me, so I'd just stick with that. So yeah guys, have a go at the build, and hope you enjoy, and catch you next time.